Hello everyone, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney with Grumpy Magician.
Hello, hello.
We just had to have a brief moment to remember what we did because we were in the evidence room all of last time. We found stuff and things about the person. We learned that Gumshoe has a sad life, which is a running trend with all of the characters in this game, I found.
Yeah. We did a lot, but we also didn't do a lot.
In one whole room.
So yeah, there was that. We found out the killer was wearing gloves. There was a glove or something hanging out of one of the things.
Mhm.
Oh, good God, why is the game so loud?
Audio settings have reset now. This game hates your PC.
For real, I don't know what its issue is. Yeah, there were those. I can't remember, did we find out whose locker the white thing was in?
I don't think so. There was the one with the bloody handprint was Gumshoe's. The one that was left open was Goodman's. I don't think we learned who the thing was sticking out of was.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, we did. It was Marshall's. I think it was Marshall's. Was the other thing? Well, we found the fingerprints of Marshall on that locker, so it might be his, or he might have killed the person.
And then we put together a vase for some reason.
Yes.
It was there, it was smashed apart, it was supposedly involved in the old case, I think. It seems a chunk of it is missing.
Yeah, there's a piece of it missing. It was part of the old case. It has a hole in the bottom.
Mm-hmm. It was weird.
Just a lot of stuff.
As I say, there was a lot, but also there wasn't.
Mm-hmm. There was a thing I was going to say, and now I've completely lost it, so we're going to pretend that it was never there to begin with. Oh, now I remember. Now I remember. Never mind, no, yeah, sorry. You're using the model potentially later that you have salvaged, not for the Fugi, but just in general.
Yes, I do have it set up for the Fugi, but for this I will
We must be Edgeworth.
stick with Spadoru Edgeworth here.
Alright, well, let's see what we can do here. Let's get into it. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2.
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all,
Victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time.
oh, that's the other sister.
No,
Why did you?
Lana, not Emma.
Why did you pivot to that one without putting her on the screen? Come on, game!
This game is just setting me up at this point.
It's just like trying to get us.
It's just like, you know what'll really fuck with them?
Like, how do we make this as difficult to keep up with while reading and performing at the same time?
Bastards.
And
Oh, I believe you, Lana.
Yep. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes.
Lana.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. That's a lot of questioning! We finished at like 3 o'clock yesterday. It's 9 a.m. Almost 10.
Damn, how many questions did they have for her? So, how'd it go?
It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain.
A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? Holy shit, actual judicial terms.
That, you know, for all the issues this case has had with changing characters without actually, you know, making it clear, it is actually using real-world, like, judicial things and crime science.
Probably the most accurate court case we've had in the entire game.
We agreed that if I told them the truth of this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma.
But, Lana, don't tell me you...
Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall?
We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Oh, annoyed dots. Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Alright. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? That's what he was saying. What's more... That's one of my favorite RVB bits.
Edgeworth just turns around and it's just like... Yes? Thank you, Your Honor. Oh crap, he's paying attention for once.
One of my favorite RVB bits is the... That shouldn't be physically possible. That's what he was saying!
That's what he was saying.
It's just such a stupid bit, but it's so good. Oh, what's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Miss Edgeworth's car.
Well, this is one messed up trial.
One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. And that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait?
I mean, speaking of this game being topical...
Yeah.
Hey people, if You're in the EU. Sign the Stop Killing Games petition. Get it done.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of topical going on in this game, and it's disappointing how it's like this game came out almost 25 years ago. You can't still be getting this many things accurately.
Apollo was just handing it out.
Yep.
What you don't realize is the entire script was written in a single night. It's just the script writer was like, am I supposed to write several cases and interesting loops? Alright, let me just write what I can. They woke up the next day with stacks of papers. Like, what did I do?
Reminded of... Are you aware of how the script for Morrowind was written?
No, I don't think so.
The writer for Morrowind took a bunch of psychedelic shrooms and locked himself in an apartment for like 3 days until Todd Howard had to like come in and break into his house to make sure he wasn't dead.
Yo, I respect it though.
That
is
some move.
Old school writing technique. Me putting out my novel. How did you come up with this? The Green Fairy told me what I should make the special symbols say.
Who is that guy? I remember this thing I learned recently about British history, and we're tangenting, but this is one that's just like, we have to follow the fairies. There's the King of the Fairies who was in, like, British government for a while. It was like one guy who was like in Parliament, I think, who also was the King of the Fairies.
I mean, usual King of the Fairies is, of course, Oberon.
No, this was like a real human person who called himself the King of the Fairies. This was a long time ago.
Well, even I haven't heard of that. Goodwin Wharton?
I think
Goodwin
that's
Wharton?
it. I think that might be it. Yeah, hang on. This is a really cool story. It's really funny to watch. Yes, Goodwin Wharton. Here it is, the Fairy King. I highly recommend watching the extra history video on this guy after we're done. It's a trip.
I'll tab that for later.
Alright. And then as the judge says, very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
Suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Yes, that is what suspect means in this case, Your Honor.
Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Poor Officer Beacons.
Here he is. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir! I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. That's...
Flabbergasted. That's...
I was just, like, trying to find a word to use here, and the judge transitioned straight into the noise that I made. Okay. We're on the same page.
Perfect.
So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir! It was me, sir! I'm the one who did it! I'll never kill anyone again, sir! You've got to believe me, sir! Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir! A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend! He's a zoomer, is what we're learning.
Yep.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir!
Officer Meekins.
Yes, sir!
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Whatever you're into, boss.
I'm not sure if this is a comedy routine or if this is someone going, damn millennials, as they were writing this.
Dang kids.
Dang kids gotta be told how to do everything. Back in my day, we had to figure out taxes by ourselves. Imagine them wanting to be taught properly. Well, you can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Notice who's doing the scout salute in that.
Yeah, the, like, pinky back.
Yeah, three-fingered salute.
So, the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. It's the Meekins family motto, sir. See.
He would fit in with me.
I think you literally used those words last week.
Probably. But they are words to live by.
It also, I guess, technically means you probably won't get put in jail if it's actual self-defense.
Yep.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. Defense may begin its cross-examination. Who found it? That seems like relevant information.
Yeah. I imagine it'll probably be Gumshoe or something.
Yeah, Gumshoe or Marshall, I assume.
Alright, so assigned to get the evidence room. What a suspicious man.
Let's just check the pile of stuff. What we got in here.
We've got...
We're up to 3 full pages of evidence.
Jesus. In terms of stuff that could be relevant to this, we have the ID card.
Yeah, the record.
We might be able to... There's also Goodman's lost item report, but we haven't confirmed that that's his card yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll be able to bring that up at the moment. Yeah, at the moment, I think the only evidence we have that could apply to anything here, I believe just from what he's said, is the ID card record.
Why don't we just go down the line and press him, see what we get?
Yeah, I think we need to press him until he slips up on something.
Alright. From the top. Hold it! Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir! I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir! Yikes, now there's a scary thought.
Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. Oh, it's a bad role.
Unfortunate. Or fortunate, depending on how you're seeing it, because you don't have to do any heavy lifting, I suppose.
The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Okay.
Time for a suspicious man. Hold it! In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card. Am I correct? Precisely, sir! I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? So we can get this filled in, maybe? Dots. There it is! I found it! This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir! It's 4989596. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh? But the number 4989596 is shown as being used twice. Alright, so it was Meekins.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Meekins. So I'm assuming based on order of events, and 4:50 he drops off the Blue Badger, comes back up to collect it, sees Bruce Goodman in there, then comes in, gets attacked.
Very possible, yes.
Please explain, witness.
No real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir, that was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Right, data added to the ID card record. What's missing is the all sevens.
Still betting that can't.
Yep. Alright, only doing what he was trained to do. Hold it! That's straw man argument. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir! A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Oh, well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That doesn't sound very effective.
Yeah.
That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. Oh, and then next one, he fought for his life.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it!
What? Turns out he's like black belt in judo.
Yeah. What exactly do you mean when you say, did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir.
I flipped him this way, then that way, then hit him with a roundhouse kick, then a roundhouse kick from the other direction, and a jumping back kick. That's when he brought out drunken kung fu. The good old drunken boxing, sir. You ever seen it? Oh, terrible thing. Just starts going through several Jackie Chan films.
So it's like Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee movies just going down the line. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. See. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew,
You might see, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Finger guns at the
Yeah.
judge.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to -2 you, Mr. Wright.
Ah, shit. How will I ever financially recover from this?
Oh, I'm sure you'll find something. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then, the next thing I knew... Yes? He punched me right in the face, sir!
So,
you didn't kill him.
red coat. Yeah, red coat drenched in blood, though. In the picture of Lana,
She's got that sprayed all over.
She has the white coat drenched in blood. I'm wondering if that's his coat for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, one last line. He passed out. Hold it. About what time did you regain consciousness? Actually, that's also a point. Wait a minute. Hold on. Look at the list. No one went in after Meekins. Who woke him up?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Because we got this as a, this is the data for the day, right?
Yeah, this should be all of
the
it.
evidence room on 221. So unless he was found, the next day, maybe?
That's... He's really out, if that's the case.
I mean,
Good
if
enough
I
hit, I
managed to
guess.
give him a concussion, yeah.
Well, it's wiped out for real. And no offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh. Right.
According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir!
So I immediately snapped up, broke the neck of the man who knocked me out, and pursued the one who I had to fight against.
Just... like the frickin' Wolverine scene.
Oh, I'm bursting up out
Yeah.
of the, Is it?
He, sits up and, stabs the woman, right? As he wakes up from a
it's
nightmare.
when...
I haven't seen the movie, I just know that scene.
It's the first X-Men film, I think. Yeah, because, he wakes up from nightmare and just stabs Rogue through the chest. Good film. Probably one of the best of the X-Men films.
I've heard that the first two are good, and then the first of the, prequel ones are good, and then the rest of them are, I've heard the third one is really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. There were good moments. The third one had some good moments. The other, prequel ones had some good moments. There's, of course, the Quicksilver sequence, which is just, that's... Since then, slow-mo in films has been changed, pretty much.
You know,
But, just the first two films, very good.
it came up earlier today. There was a real trend with superhero movies in threes back then. With the Spider-Man ones, too.
Yeah, it's... So... I would probably put that down to... Because everything was a trilogy at the time.
Because of Lord of the Rings,
It
probably.
wasn't just superhero movies. You had Lord of the Rings, you had Matrix, Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix Revolutions.
Star Wars was coming back around.
And then there was, Star Wars in its 3-episode format. And so everything was just like, no, it needs to be a trilogy. It needs to be a trilogy. And everyone else just going, no, 2 was good enough. We're good with 2. You don't need to do a 3rd.
Meanwhile, Sam Raimi, I could do 4, but cut it down to 3.
Yeah. Man, it's such a shame. Because 3 was bad, but 2 was so good.
Yeah, I think that's the real problem. 3's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, but it's coming after Spider-Man 2, which is maybe the best superhero movie out there, or one of them at least.
Yeah. Like, so I know I'm with a lot of people when I say Captain America vs. Winter Soldier was
Winter
the
Soldier.
best Avengers movie.
Winter Soldier is, without question, the best MCU movie.
I would probably put that side by side with Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen...
These are 2 great films.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, so I don't know. I don't feel confident in making that call, but yeah, they're both up there.
It's also the origin of the unending Peter holding a ton of webs, holding something together.
Yep.
Straining so hard that the suit can't contain his biceps.
There must be one in everything. Was the train scene from a comic before that? Because I know it's been in a comic since. Or was the movie the actual start? Or do you know?
I don't know if it was before or after. I'd have to actually check that one, because if it is in one of them, it's not one I've read.
Yeah, okay.
But then again, I haven't read Spider-Man
There's
in
a lot
a
of
long time.
It was big enough to make The Incredibles do it, so...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Detangent. Back in. Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim?
He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, sir. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. All right, children in chat, what do you think this is?
Oh god, people who wouldn't recognize that.
Cut to the Nintendo parental controls asking, one of them questions being asking what a VCR is for. God.
That came up, I can't remember what it was in. I was watching something like today or yesterday, talking about how, like, you know how you have all the anti-piracy, anti-tamper stuff today? You know what we had back in the day? We had a floppy disk, and it had unbeatable security. To the point that, to beat it, you had to slide a little metal thing to the side and push in a switch. So that you could just rewrite it and take what you need off it.
Yeah, floppy disks were before my time, but I was definitely around for taping things with the VCR.
I was late into the floppy disk because I remember as a kid, one of my first quote-unquote games was a digital coloring book, and it was installed via floppy disk onto the PC.
I think my dad had some for work programs, but that was about it.
And then we switched over to CDs with the Action Man games and Lego Island.
It's one I've heard.
Lego Island.
It's what they've recently decompiled and reconstructed that game.
Let's fucking go.
I saw that recently. Someone decompiled it and put it back together.
Hell yeah. That is very much a game lost to time.
It's like a weird, like, odd jobber sim, basically, right? I think I've seen bits of it.
Yeah, you play a pizza boy who's supposed to just be out delivering pizzas. But then there's just, oh no, this has gone wrong. Fix it. Oh no, this has gone wrong.
Fix.
And we steadily chain through those to the, hey, a man has fallen in the river in Lego City.
God. As you went through that, I was just like, this is just the, like, stupid, like, like, JRPG joke where it starts with you raising cats and then ends with you killing God, except it's Lego now.
Yeah, pretty much. It just gets bigger and bigger. I remember there was an island with a lighthouse, helicopters, there was some kind of thief or heist or something. It was weird, but great.
That's with a lot of those, like, early PC games that were made for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Here. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief?
Delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Objection! What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. I was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Someone wheel out that thing the substitute teacher uses.
Say, wheel out the
projector.
Old school CRT TV.
Yeah. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh. Please stop using that word. Murder, sir. It scares me. Video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into?
We might be entering the third dimension if the opening cinematic is anything to go by. Oh my god, we are!
Yeah, we are, and...
Holy shit.
Look at how many polygons are on that man.
Oh, look how sharp that thumb was. Stab a man with it.
Once again, covering his face at all times.
And it's a good thing the blue badger broke just long enough.
Oh, it was quite the charge there.
Damn. He already had blood on his shoulder from that, though.
And
then he's out cold.
yep.
And the guy's just vanished?
Vanished into thin air. Unless he's crawled out somehow.
And now the thing is in Marshall's locker.
Hmm. Dots.
Aggravated dots.
Dots. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
Your Honor, it's not the time for a therapy session. More importantly, what the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Wait, that's what he was so aggravated over, seeing the blue badger for the first time?
I'm not entirely surprised, considering it was in the way as well.
Yeah, fair.
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the court record. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room. And some sort of, activity took place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir, as you wish, sir.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Huh. I've just realized, because I heard him, I was just like, what the fuck is that? This is the first case in the entire game with vibration.
Oh.
When he shouted, like it did the ding and the slight shake, I just heard a...
Your controller's
Apparently
on.
my controller was just vibrating in response to Officer Meekins.
Why does
It's
it...
been on for all the others, and it hasn't vibrated before.
Why is it... This game was made for the DS. Why did they add vibration for the console and PC port? What does vibration serve this game?
The fuck? I don't know, but it just... Yeah, well.
Alright then. No. Somebody had like 15 minutes at work one day, like, I gotta do something. I'll just jam some vibrations in here real quick.
I mean, when you're bored while programming,
Yep.
what can you do, right?
Mystery Man. Fresh testimony. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint?
Alright, okay. So I think the lost item report is going to come into play now then.
Hmm.
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Good. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead. But everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Alright. Well, before we get in there, I want to see if we can look any closer at this tape. Let's see. Check the tape. Does not look like it just plays through again. There's no speed control or anything. Oh, I just noticed something. Open the video and look at the locker. Like, at the start, when it first pans over to it. The light is already on.
The light's already on.
Yeah. And the glove falls out after he opens it. So the glove was like blocking the latch, I think.
Oh, yeah. It hadn't properly closed. In which case he wouldn't need the fingerprints. Yeah, good catch.
Alright, well, there we go. I'm glad I opened the video again.
Yeah. So we probably present that as he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do.
Or so it must have been him. No one else could have unlocked it. They're both the same line, I guess.
Yeah.
It's definitely the tape, but I don't know which one. Just drop a save and do one and the other.
Yeah, drop a save. I'd say the first of the two sounds more likely to me, just because it's a more direct contradiction of just, no, he didn't require the fingerprints.
Alright, well, sounds good to me. If it doesn't work, it's definitely the other one, so. Alright, security video at he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. Objection! Oh, there goes the music. Nice fun. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction.
Objection! I need a moment, because the wind is currently blowing my door open.
Sure.
I need to stuff something in the way.
Yeah,
Right back.
I'll take a second as well. Okay.
There we go. Should have done it and in the way. Good. Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video.
He would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. You have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright.
So we're going for the light immediately.
It's set up.
Right?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
It's either it having the light on from the get-go, or the glove falling out when he opens it.
Yeah, I think we lead with the light. So that we can, like, back the glove up later.
It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? It's a fair question. He does seem a little soft for it.
Yeah, just a bit.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Oh god, backspace pause.
Assume like on the other thing you can just press the button. Yep, press it to pause. The light!
Take that! The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir! Do you mean me, sir? Why is the Blue Badger music coming back?
Someone wheel this out of here. It's totally annoying.
Ah, sorry guys, he was just really excited to see.
Yeah, essentially just gumshoe stuck over there in the back of
Yep.
the courthouse.
Absolutely. As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, The light turns on, and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, something is seriously wrong with this picture. Alright, you don't have to play the whole thing. We saw it. I guess he's gonna show the glove. There we go. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little early. Here. Notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Was that a chicken sound? Or was that was the megaphone from him tugging on it, maybe? I don't know what that was.
Maybe? Yeah, I don't know.
Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
Objection! But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered. And the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well, just goes to show novices should just keep their mouths shut.
As you should. I'll be quiet for the rest of the time we're in here.
Oh, okay. So then...
This goes full-on camera on that.
Yeah, just like slides down into his chair. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Thinking dots? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Uh-huh. Oh, maybe something, like, jammed the system sensor?
Something jammed the sensor. Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Oh, she really is in my head.
Again, the thought bubbles, they're right there. We're all following the play-by-play at the moment. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. So, glove time, I'm guessing.
Has to be.
The locker wasn't locked, Mr. Wright. Please show us why. Enter is fast forward. Let's hold.
Just hold that down. Pause.
Pause.
The glove!
Glove. Take that! Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier.
Okay.
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I close my door, sir. Objection! We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What? Objection! Shut up, Officer Meekins.
Stop giving me your life story! What do you mean? The sensor triggers and the lock when the door... Hang on. I added an and in it. My brain. The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? First the cough-up queen, now this.
Okay, do we need to... Like a fucking Naruto episode. Hold on, we need to spend half of it rewatching the same memory over and over. Theme of the swing intensifies.
Average One Piece episode. If what I'm understanding is correct, they're about 60% recap by volume at this point.
Yep. It's like I enjoyed watching One Piece. I got so tired of every episode, half of it being recap.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
One day, people will learn. We've moved on. You can do seasonal now. You don't have to have one every single week for all of eternity.
Yes, please. But then actually do give follow-up seasons. I know Yoke has recently gotten into Fire Force, and I'm still sat here going, new Fire Force season? Next season? There's some cool shit I want to see animated.
Me for the last 11 years waiting for No Game to get a second season. It won't happen at this point, but you know, I can cope.
Sorry, we'll get Silk Song. And then what was it?
Nirvana.
I was working on earlier? Nirvana. And then we'll get No Game, No Life season 2.
At this point, I think they would just have to start over again. It's been too long.
Yeah. They'll go, it's time for season 2, and everyone else just... What?
Half the people who would be of, like, the age range to watch it would have been, like, 10 at the time when it started. Ugh. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Okay, so first of all, that's in his jacket.
Okay, so... Hear me out.
Okay.
Officer Meekins, I am now steadily growing convinced, is a character from Disco Elysium. So in Disco Elysium, you can put your various stats in various places.
Mm-hmm.
But they then have a lot of effects that they just never mention unless they come up.
Okay.
If you are like a vibe-based cop enough, then you identify that your horrendous tie is fucking with your mind. And so whenever you do certain situations, your tie will just go, yeah, man, screw the law. Let's take it.
That's...
And it's just like, there's like a whole scene of, oh no, I think I'm dying. I think I'm being strangled by my tie.
It's one of those games I probably should play at some point.
I have owned it for ages, but I've never played it. I've just seen clips of it. And I really want to play it at some point because it seems like one of those where you can do some really interesting stuff.
It's a weird game, for certain.
Yeah. But it's like, because it's build-based, you can get all kinds of different things. Like, you can go with the absolute Like, I am big, I'm buff, I'm fast. Or you can do what I would do, where you're the Lovecraftian cop, who is fully spec'd into Shivers, where Shivers is just the vibe. To the point that if your Shivers is high enough, you'll be walking along and the city itself talks to you.
Okay.
You just get messages from the city about things happening in different places. And it's just, you can just... How do I know this? You can feel it. You are in tune with things.
Oh.
It never explains it any more than that.
There's like a thing that I've heard of, a similar concept where it's just like, it is a detective, it's another thing, it's not this, it's another detective who just like knows something has happened somewhere. It might just be a precognition, like a lot of stuff, but maybe that's it, but it feels like something I've heard elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that game is very good and has a lot of moments where it points at the various streamers playing it and just goes, yes, we know you're playing this on stream. Make a decision right now.
There's no asking.
Like, I don't like any of these choices. Make the decision now.
Cancel yourself now.
Yeah.
Now I'm imagining the low-tier god gif with, like, the guy's face from Disco Elysium over it.
Yeah, just him absolutely red-faced and bearded up, lining around it. You should kill yourself. Now! In Minecraft.
Yep. Continuing on. Instead of the door closing, but the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Everyone just does not want to hear Meekin's life story.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. I'm now realizing why the glove specifies extremely thin.
Mm-hmm.
But, sir, by insulator, do you mean... Can we stop auto-scrolling past his lines when I'm looking over at my audio to make sure it's not breaking? I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? It's this glove, Your Honor.
It's the phone. Oh wait, the glove. Yeah.
Take that! I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident.
I'm still not too sure about that. On the backside, it says, I have used this to jam the sensor for the locker. That could have been written by anyone. It would be ridiculous to assume it.
Sounds pretty sus to me. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order! 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 So are we to believe, then, that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Objection. Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edward?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this.
What?
Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir! Me, sir! I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir.
Dots.
Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2! There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. ID card record. See.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime. Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? It's a very good question.
That's actually a good question, Your Honor. This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Special cases?
Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
How often does this happen? You need a room dedicated to it.
I mean, considering how openly people flaunt violence in this setting,
I guess.
like, we've been jumped several times. One time in the police building.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference.
Hey.
But
There were only a few cases up for transferal there. Most were cleared up by noon.
right. I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination. Alright, we think any of this is good enough to jam the ID report on, or we need to get him to say something else first?
I think the last one, maybe? The detective had used his card?
Slap
The
the,
detective has used his card, but that's... Lost item report is essentially going, no, the detective didn't have it.
Yeah. It doesn't say on it, but we have the word of the chief of detectives that that's what it was for. He just hadn't finished it.
Hmm. Yeah, I reckon we try it there.
Alright.
Drop a save, just to be safe.
Save. Alright. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card presenting lost item report. Objection! Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. I guess that's also the point.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office.
Dots.
Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess. You believe there's something to be his ID card, right?
I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order! Order! So, now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response?
Contemplative Dots. I've only one thing to say to the defense.
Huh?
Bravo, Mr. Wright.
Bravo?
Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There were two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright?
Yes. What's he up to?
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instance of the murder.
That is, well, I guess that's right.
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around.
This isn't going to end well.
Well, well. It seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot, and the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness. Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon.
Ah!
Yeah, he's gotta say, we proved that this wasn't murder.
Yep. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? And also, why is there a giant puddle of blood in there?
Yeah?
However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Good.
Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana...
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this? I guess we object? Yeah, we can't just sit here.
Yeah.
Objection!
Every time it's put this forward, wait and see what happens has never been the answer.
No. No. You gotta get in there. One moment, Your Honor.
What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven.
Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap.
What are you talking about?
This cross-examination has proven one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder.
Pan back across. There we go.
Then back over again. Also, how'd the bloody handprint get behind the badger?
Yeah.
That's where it was.
So that means perhaps the bloody handprint is already there at that point? Because there was, like, as you mentioned, there is the puddle of blood.
Yeah.
So maybe the Okay, so hold on.
For 3 murders.
So we had all 7s, Edgeworth, Meekins drops off the Blue Badger, then Goodman, then Meekins again.
Yep.
So, all 7s is Gant. Gant comes in here with Goodman, kills him, cleans up most of the blood, forgets the handprint, goes. Edgeworth just doesn't notice it because he is busy taking care of other matters. Meekins comes in and, being Meekins, doesn't see it as he puts the Blue Badger in front of it. Then leaves, comes back, that instance occurs. At this point, because of all the transferals that have been going on, Goodman is already dead and loaded into Edgeworth's car while it's there for the transferals.
Oh yeah, what? How long was the range on the autopsy? Within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. That's a huge range.
Yep. So yeah, hour and a half of 4 p.m. and Gant was 4:20. So the murder occurs then. While Edgeworth is dealing with transferals, the body is loaded into the boot, where it is taken over to the place with the knife in it. What we saw wasn't her stabbing him, it was her pulling the knife out of the body after she pulled it out of Edgeworth's trunk.
Which leaves just the question of, why does she know that he's in the trunk? And why does she do it?
Possible maybe part of it was left dangling out of the trunk? Like a bit dangling out the edge, similar to how the coat is there. Yeah. Maybe that's just blood leaking out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, she looks under the back of the car, it's just like blood pouring out, like, what is going on in there?
Mm. I feel like that's something we haven't found out. Like there is a piece of missing information that is going to clarify that. But yeah, that's my current going theory.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. One second. Oh, there we go. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Ooh. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room.
Dots.
The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor?
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We've not prepared any other witnesses for this incident.
This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Yo, we're getting Chuck Norris in here? Let's go!
Could you imagine?
Chuck Norris. Roundhouse this man.
Could you imagine Chuck Norris in this game?
Thing is, I don't want, like, the Phoenix Wright art style Chuck Norris.
It's just a
I
JPEG.
just want straight up JPEG Chuck Norris.
It's got like the puppet cut out on his mouth, just like moving.
Yeah. Oh god. Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh? Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
The prosecution requests to hear this person's name.
Where's your punctuation?
Before deciding whether or not to
Oh.
comply.
I was about to say, why did it stop so early? I guess it doesn't want to just put to comply on its own box.
I intentionally just, he's going from the School of Game Show narration. Hitting everyone with the pregnant pause, just wishes to hear this witness's name. Wait for dramatic effect. 3, 2, 1. Before deciding whether or not to comply.
Why is that term called that, by the way? Do you know?
What, the pregnant pause?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's such a weird way to
but
name it.
I believe it's because, like, it's literally full.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. So, pause that gives the impression that it will be followed by something significant. Pause that is full of meaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
It is literally just saying something is on the way.
okay. I might have picked something else, but I won't fight for it. Nope. Anything else?
Nope. Go for it.
Very well then. Mr. Wright. This person whom you would like to have testify, what is his or her name? Like, alright, which one of these people?
Alright. I call Bruce Goodman to the stand.
Oh, Maya's not here anymore. Dang it, I can't do that.
Alright,
Just-
Mr. Marshall.
Yep. Jake Marshall. Take that! Officer Jake Marshall.
sorry, I've just been blindsided by something.
Okay, share with the class.
So, the Capcom Direct is going on at the moment.
Yes.
And they've revealed new skins for Street Fighter, which
Okay.
are some beach outfit skins. So
Okay.
you've got Bikini Kimberly,
Okay.
very fashionable Bikini Manon, Bikini and Tanline Cammy from the looks of it.
Okay.
And then there's Luke,
It's the Speedo.
side cap, sports sunglasses, lifeguard pack, shorts and gloves, and Crocs.
I love so much how Luke is supposed to be like the next generation leader because, you know, they want to do that with him. But also at the same time, they continuously just make him such a weirdo.
They sandbag him constantly.
So
But don't worry, he is the next like big character. He's gonna be the main character going forward. He is such a dumbass though.
he's and his rival who is so drunk and so terrible, but he's there.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite joke from Octo is still the Jamie Discords when they get excited about taking a move from -10 to -16 on block. It's like, we've made it worse. Let's go.
We made it worse. Yeah, so I just got
It's fair.
the
It's like a flashbang.
bikini outfits. Very nice. Good designs, Capcom. You cooked. What the fucking Crocs? Hey. Why him?
Can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
Mention of an actual subpoena?
Yeah, an actual subpoena.
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 2. Dance. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out.
Lana, you're the one who knows everything.
Emma.
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
Conflicted dots. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals!
And all the tension right out the window.
All the way gone. Annoyed dots.
pained dots.
Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Like, sad face fade out. Wait! Detective!
Oh,
Wait.
sorry, pal. I didn't realize. I'll just be going, for when someone in this wide world needs me. You'll never give me up, will you, Blue Badger? Just walking out as it squeaks along beside him.
Nobody knows the troubles I've seen. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky!
Considering the accent, I'm automatically substituting that with Nags. Just, hey!
God. I was watching the second Peak VOD before we got started this, and, it's gone places!
I need to watch the first one of that. I looked at it originally, I caught them while they were streaming it. It's like, the fuck is this? Peak? I don't know.
I recommend looking at the clip I shared yesterday. It's a thing.
Yeah, I saw the clip of...
That's Chibi's scream.
Yeah, Chibi's very real scream.
It's a good one. It's a weird game. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Oh! You mean this, right? Something tells me he's really not comfortable in her presence. Just a hunch.
I think it's less uncomfortable and more just excitement. Just, oh hey, it's
the
Mr.
boss.
Edgeworth's boss. It's the boss.
She needs me to do something for her. You mean this, right? That's a lot of files. My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident?
But Lana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them. So I had them brought here. Here. You might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. I've never heard them before, but I did there.
Yep, I tried to mute once I realized it was getting picked up by Discord.
You're good. It's never come through before. That is the first time I've ever heard it.
I didn't change my noise gate. That was a proper bassy bike.
That was a big one, yeah. Miss Sky was a witness? SL9 incident files received from Lana Scott. Files for the Joe Dark killings, solved 2 years ago.
No. That man was born to be a serial killer.
Yeah, he was.
Let's see, who do we have as a possible suspect here? We've got James Milligan, Bert Sidney. I'm not sure about him. 2 first names, that's risky. Steve Reynolds and Joe Dark. He did it.
That's the guy. One. Oh, take it from me. You don't want anything to do with serial murders. Dots. Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma? Why? Why is your name in here?
What? My name's in there? I don't know, unless... No. Couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that...
That's
Parents?
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings.
Joe Dark. Oh. Oh, Lana. That's over with. No!
Oh, she's gone.
Oh.
Emma! Wait! She ran away. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere else. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. This seems a little too much drama for me.
This is too emotionally charged. I'm good.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth, not to mention Alana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. Oh, it's not gonna open it. It's just informing us you better open this as soon as you get to the next screen.
Hey, when you get in there, look in the court record.
Alright, let's get this save on. Last time we had 2 trials, we managed to squeeze this. The second one was like super short when we took a break, so we should be able to knock this out.
We should be able to do one more. This is like the second half of this one trial.
Yeah. Alright, let's get it. February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Alright, before I even read this line, let's look at this pile of files. Let's get in there. Alright.
All the way to the side.
So, incident number SL9. Closed. Perpetrator Joe Dark, crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Victims Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall.
Okay, so there's the brother who was in the outfit. That's the reason why Marshall is continuing to get involved. But can I just say, Jason Knight is a Batman character for sure.
Yeah. Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Executive investigators Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Head investigator Bruce Goodman. Investigators Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. Okay.
So... yeah, so Neil Marshall was probably investigating it, got killed, but was the last of the killings. Damon Gant absolutely either buried some evidence or made up some evidence to call it to a close, which is why, like, Jake and Angel were kicked off, because they were probably like, wait, no, but Neil, though. But Neil! And so they were told, get the fuck out. Bruce was probably looking into this still.
He had all the stuff in his locker.
Which is why he got killed by Damon Gant. And then... oh... the glove is probably put there by Goodman, in that case.
Because he
so
expected
that
it.
Jake... yeah. Which then Jake goes and finds it. And I'm not sure what he does from there.
I imagine this is where we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
We have Marshall's fingerprints as evidence as well there, so that might come up. Alright, let's go. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back.
Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
As for my name, listen hard enough. You can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
I'm glad that he's just like, alright, they're not gonna say it at this point, I am. Look at this.
Yeah, Edgeworth has had enough of their shit.
Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Judge is also done with this.
Yeah, everyone's just like, this guy's an idiot. Let's just get this over with.
Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Day of the crime.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, it was protected by 2 security systems. Anyway, if I remember right, I was at a Creekside saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man. If you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
Can't say I care for your beer. You don't see me complaining none.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers?
Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He's not being very helpful.
He's not that good with machines. Or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright. It's all yours. Alright, so let's...
Okay. Where are we going? So, the immediate one is probably, if I remember right, I was at a street side saloon.
Yeah.
Hits him with the fingerprints, say, then how were these here?
Yep. We found these at the spot. Alright, well, immediate objection. Let's go. Marshall's fingerprints on, if I remember right. Objection! Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this?
Dots.
After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
Yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints will be in there.
Objection! I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
Beard trimming dots. It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
Huh?
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints?
Very well. You begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Well, round two. Blood-stained fingerprints.
Plays into another. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as a blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. Bloodstain and fingerprint? Completely unrelated. But didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it.
How would you have that information, sir? The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. I think we just press him on the gloves comment, right? Like, there's no way for him to know that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything that, like, contradicts it, so I think we just have to be like, how do you know that, sir?
Yeah, there's no immediate contradictions, so...
Alright.
Go with pressing there.
Yep. Hold it! How do you know that?
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer.
That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint.
Oh yeah. I think we tried that too. So that would mean... the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's handprint.
That's the only logical conclusion.
Can't let
But
him
then why
squirm.
would they wipe away the one on your locker but not the one on Gumshoe's?
I can't let him squirm out of this one. Gotta find something. Something decisive. Tie Officer Marshall to this scene, to this crime.
That's the reset line, I see.
Okay, yeah. So I'm assuming that is the thing we have to go through, but we have to find the other thing that we need first.
So you cut out a bit there.
I'm assuming that line is the correct thing. We just need to do something else first and then do that again.
Yeah.
Press from the top.
Yeah, I guess we roll through pressing until see what he cracks on.
Alright. Hold it. That's because you... How do you put it? Pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean? That's also the one that had a thing coming out of it, right?
Yes.
Right.
Because that was past my theory. He stuffed the jacket in there so that he could appear normal when people came to investigate.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All's in there now, though. Heap of broken dreams.
I see.
Be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record.
You starting to get the picture, partner?
The picture?
This seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards.
Huh?
There's only one reality. And that's this.
Security tape.
As long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Except it is.
Yep. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Oh, well, there we go, there's another line.
So, we immediately present the video, right?
Do we present immediately, or do we push him first to make sure there's not something else on here?
I guess we can try pressing, see if he gives us anything else.
Make sure he's not some other line we have to tick off here. Alright, hold it! What do you mean by that?
You want to tie me to this crime. Isn't that right, partner?
Dots.
If so, that video was the only direct evidence you have. It's lovely right there.
Yep. Objection! But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
Objection! We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present. Please do so now.
Yep.
Show evidence. Okay. So... what are we aiming for here? Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall.
So it sweeps right, left, right as he walks in, left again, right we see slumped Meekins, left, And at that left, there should now be the coat sticking out of the locker.
Gotcha. Alright.
Tread carefully, Mr. Wright. We might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Fast forward.
Right. Left. Right. He opens it. Left. Meekins comes in.
Yep.
Right. They get in a tussle. Left once more. Right. Slumped Meekins. Left. Pause. There is now the coat sticking out of the locker.
Yep. Take that! Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll not soon forget, Officer Marshall.
X and dots. The days are short in Texas. So are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
Eight words exactly.
Yep.
Nice. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
Key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. If nothing else,
Okay, we can rewind faster than this.
yep, if nothing else, he was very fast at this also. This is like 5 seconds to get this in there and get out.
Yeah. Clean movement.
Oh! The white cloth! It's gone! What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? The crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order! Order! But he'd lost it.
Hold your horses. Go ahead. Go ahead and knock the door. Hold your horses. Sorry, partner. You got the wrong man.
Dots.
So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Exasperated Dots. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker, stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine.
Dots.
Dots. Why's everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Sorry, wanted man.
This is, I think, the first time we've had a moment where everyone in the room recognizes that the victim has completely blown themselves out.
Yeah. Like, everyone's caught on to it, even the judge. It's just like... Really?
We just went over this.
Really? He's serious about this, isn't he? Huh.
This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it.
Okay. Game just wants to let us press a couple extra buttons. Alright.
Yeah, I present
The locker.
evidence locker.
Yep. Take that!
Fingerprint sensor?
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
I only got one word for you, partner. No! Just dies on the spot.
Yeah, he like grabbed his chest like he had been shot. That would have been quite the twist, though. And it's just like, he does just follow. It's like, did someone just shoot him? What happened? Order! 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 Witness! Explain yourself.
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Stress dots.
Ole! Please answer the question. I don't know if that's the word you should use there, Judge, but sure. Thank you, Phoenix. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Mr. V. Take that! Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. Realizing this also makes sense, Meekins didn't say who woke him up. It might have been Marshall, just staying in the evidence room until enough time passed. That's why there's no more cards being swiped.
Oh, yeah, could be. Objection. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
Objection! May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? Oh. He certainly pulled a knife on me! Hey. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, Why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as a victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. We could just go open the locker and see what it is.
I can't say I care for your beard. You don't see me complain.
Can't even come up with a new burn. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, oh, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, buddy. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
Ah, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do?
So he pulls out the knife that he threatened him with to shave his beard. Dots. Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed.
Ah.
I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics.
The basics?
Like they had switched to him pointing as it panned away. Like he was just going, camera, look at him now.
You, go over there. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me.
Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box.
I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise.
Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been.
Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
But
Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. I don't know what we're looking for here, do you?
the blood stain on his left shoulder. Or his right shoulder.
Gotcha. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open this locker. So, fast forward until the scuffle.
Pen 1, pen 2. Meekins walks in. Fights. Oh, went a bit too far.
Walks in. Fight.
Right at the end of the scuffle.
For it. Yep, there it is. Blood. Take that!
In the blood.
I know that your parents, like, took you to mass and stuff, but I did not expect you to have that song in your brain. I guess you went to a Catholic academy, right?
Not the academy, but primary school, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Literally, we had primary school was attached to a church. Like, not directly, but there was the local church, and it was an offshoot of that.
Gotcha. Yep. That's how my stuff was before I went into homeschooling.
Made for a really fun year in school where one of the teachers was a common speaker at the church.
Ah, sick.
And she taught, and that was the year we had RE, religious education. It was, here is the knowledge of the Catholic Church. We get to know about any others. There weren't any others.
Ah.
Now sit down, you fucking sinner. Of course, she didn't say fucking, but she did say... Like,
was she Irish?
She was not even Irish. Like, that
just came out.
As a family. But no, she was an old English lady, but very strongly Catholic. Would often talk about how X, Y, and Z were the influence of the devil to try and get you to sin. It was bad.
It was Sunday school, not on Sunday.
Of course. And that was also the year that Yu-Gi-Oh! Kicked off. So that went well with her.
Yeah, that one was a fun time. We're still censoring cards because of that.
Saw polymerization and lost that.
I don't think they've ever given us the anime art. That's not the art in Japan either. They've just never given us the anime art of polymerization. It doesn't exist for some stupid reason. We don't know why. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on it. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker.
Guilty dots. Not bad, partner.
Also, I just noticed on his wide sprite there, he has full-on spurs on his boots.
Yes, he does. He kind of loved the commitment to it for that
Yeah.
level, though.
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. Slightly smug dots. 2 years ago, you were only half as persistent then as you are today. You wouldn't have to be here now. Now would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
Alright. Seems the time has come.
Marshall's confession. Why is this a testimony?
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like it. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
So, the supposed victim was really you.
There's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. No one was murdered, and how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
It was way too much blood for such a small donation.
I can confirm, from first-hand experience, even if you stab right into that bitch, it does not bleed that much.
He's got, like, Sanji blood where it's just, like, hyper-pressurized and just fires out when he gets cut.
Of course, the anime blood.
Yeah.
He got slashed, they parted in the scuffle moments later. It erupted.
It's the Kill la Kill blood fountain.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
what are we supposed to do with this?
Let's do that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. Someone takes ID and just like him, I got the evidence.
Should we just press down the line again?
Yeah, I think this pressed down the line, and he's going to say something that doesn't line up.
Alright.
There's still the bloody handprint.
Yeah.
We know that that one was done by someone with gloves.
Mm-hmm.
So, I imagine he has to have been there to see that one.
Alright, well. Down the line. Hold it! When you say it, do you mean...
Do you even have to ask, partner?
The SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself. One more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why
Well, stole the ID. Hold it! Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to film the security camera?
And the detective's ID card.
I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
Why would you drop it off there, though?
I assume he means when he was put in charge of the investigation of the corpse, he planted it on the body.
Okay. So, essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean? I mean, the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But you could, because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Right, wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. Hold it!
Give us all the juicy details.
Yep.
What'd you hit him with?
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person. Taking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
Okay, well, you know, that's better than docking his pay, I guess. Just no raise.
Yeah.
Character development. Oh, good lord. Just take off. You got a freaking tripod outside your house?
It was a bike, but it sounded like multiple, didn't it?
That sounded like, yeah, War of the Worlds tripod going off. Like, blah.
No, that was a little rattler bike, a dirt bike or something.
Okay. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Phoenix, he's been doing this since the start.
Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. Me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. Hold it! So you did your research beforehand?
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. All had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. Someone was in the security room when I came out. Jig would have been up. I opened my locker, stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So, what you're saying is, on that day, wasn't any murder in the evidence room, 515. Hold it! But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Someone's run off with it.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID? Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense.
Careful now, Wright. The sad music has started to play. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Guilty dots. Like I said, this isn't your case. It's one mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? You could have just told us this and kept the music there.
Yeah. Do we press this, or do we, like, hand the file over because his name's in it and his brother's in it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to hit him with the file here.
That's why there's a break, yeah. Alright, SL9 incident files. Objection! Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file here. Name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. The list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. He was killed because he was getting too close to the actual answer, which is that it was Gant. That's why Gant frames Joe Dark as well. That's right. He was killed. The case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. He was investigating the murders of Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under him. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark.
Okay, yeah, this guy also looks like Yoshikage Kira.
Killer as well. Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay.
But Kira's emo massive
Yeah.
isn't fit. So he looks like a killer. His name lined him up to be a killer. So yeah, I'm sorry, man, but you've only got one thing you're doing.
Yeah, it's a little hard to look the other way.
It's either that, or you're in some skit show where you're actually just the owner of a puppy shelter, and you're like the kindest person alive.
It's like the guy that everyone's terrified of because of how he looks, but he's not actually.
Mm-hmm. My brother fought Doc and was killed. That was the first time Doc left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case finally closed. At least, according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Doc. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Dots.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. It's exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office. This fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance. It's gotta be more than just that. So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
Objection! But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Objection! Which is why we examine the incident at the police department today.
But...
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remain the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me, the boys got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. You have a response. Make it a single word or less.
Dots. Ah!
Good choice of a single word. I rest my case.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
No doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Hold it! I'm assuming this is Phoenix, or... Oh, hi, Emma.
Emma. Hold it! Your Honor, wait!
Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right?
What do you mean, right?
No, I was calling for you. Object. Now.
Mr. Wright. Are you this girl's guardian? Honor? In a sense.
Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. That's... I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings.
Now that she mentions it, names of both Sky Sisters were in that file.
That's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprints. Thank you. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again.
So, did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
That's...
That's...
Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
But, Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. We can't find something wrong with them. Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Hey. Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing?
So, the current claim is that it was from Mr. Meekins, like Officer Meekins. But if it was, then the Blue Badger was in the way of him putting his hand on it. I think that's the only thing I can think at the moment.
It's also invisible to the camera because of that, so we have no idea if it was already present or not at the time.
Yeah. Well, we've got to object.
Yep, I object! Objection! This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
We've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes. Something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood. We must pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. All this evidence here. There's gotta be something I can use. Question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
The video again?
I was gonna say the Blue Badger.
Yeah. I mean,
Because the Blue Badger is the item that is missing, which is why...
yeah, and it also says was allegedly dancing in the evidence room at the time of the murder. Yeah.
Alright. The Blue Badger! Take that!
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger. Mascot of the police force. Defender of truth. Guardian of proof.
Real proud of that one, ain't you?
I've been getting into poetry lately. It helps me deal with all of my issues.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So?
So, watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime.
I'm just picturing the meme of, like, it's an idea, the people looking stern-faced, and then there's one addition, and it's suddenly shocked faces.
Yes.
It's that, but it's just the floor line, and the floor plan, and then a single line drawn across it.
Yeah, just... My God.
Oh my god.
Well... well... what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker.
What?
He's been shot again.
Who keeps firing shots at me in the courtroom?
So that means... just what exactly does this mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma!
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would have been impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
Ah, so that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
Shut up, Judge. You've allowed far less to fly in this courtroom.
We literally got out of one of these cases by making crap up until you let us out. It may sound...
Put up with that, you will put up with this.
Yep. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been... Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. He's going in!
Objection. Yeah, he's getting it. He's getting it. Believe in the plot, shotgun, Phoenix. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
Objection! The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
Objection! So then, assuming this murder you propose really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur? The ID!
The ID card report?
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? The ID card record.
ID card record.
Take that! If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. ID card. Oh! The ID card record! Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at... Let's see here. 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope. I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murder.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
Well, that would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the room. Let's take a look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 7777777.
Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 7777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777777.
That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who's a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Objection! But that's ridiculous! Just how?
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge.
You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Objection! I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I'd appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No. Not to you. The her. Defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Lana?
Objection! Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 7777777. Don't blame me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing. About that incident.
The SL9 incident.
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. Time we...
Occasionally felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Huh?
Lana.
I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, you really present all the evidence in court. And you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did.
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't! I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
But Lana...
Even if it involved forging evidence. Why are we flashing light?
Someone turn off that strobe light. God damn. See? That's what I'm talking about. Oh. No!
Oh, the cloud's really in trouble now. Order! 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 Order!
She fucked up! She's a criminal! Kill her! That might be a bit far.
Chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial? We have to wait until the following day. To be continued!
Jesus, it's still going.
Okay, well, they said the following day, at least, so we're gonna get a break. We're at time here, though, so that worked out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fucking hell.
so, that was a lot.
Yeah. But I am now very solid on my theory.
Yeah, it's looking good. We're getting into the meat of this one finally. Now that we're 2 days of trialing worth done. So how you feeling on this case so far?
So, I like that we're using actual forensics and
Yep.
legal, like, precedent. Go on. I feel like they've done a solid job of, like, burying the threads about the place
Mhm.
and like unraveling it as it goes along. The problem is I play too many of these games
You've seen this
and
before.
watch too many detective shows. So like it kicks in that part of my brain that writes. It's it's the problem I have with a lot of shows now.
You know too
Of like I
much.
can just sit there and go, I know where this is going.
Yep.
Like that's half of how the plot shotgun functions. It is the writer side of me going, all right, where's this going to go? Where's the plot going to go next? So I'm not going to fault it for being predictable.
Mhm.
I think that is purely I'm too used to the field. Uh, it's done a solid job of unraveling it. I I think if anything, I feel we could have had more stuff with Marshall.
Mhm.
Like just him there for that thing. I feel like we could have had more of a breakdown of the SL9 case in the court
Mhm.
rather than it just going like, hey, here's a document that has his brother's name in it. Like if we had instead gotten him to crack, got him to slip up and then go, so you are directly involved,
Mhm.
and then play from there, that would have been quite cool. Uh yeah. Overall, it's still a solid case. It is fucking long.
Yeah, we're on the final day now. One more day of investigation and one more day of court because it can't go past 3. I think this one is my favorite. It's between this one and the Edgeworth case for my favorite in this game. The Edgeworth case has a lot of strong character moments, but this one is just like this one, as you said, feels like an actual case that you have to figure out.
Yeah, actually I'd say I'd agree with that. Like it feel a lot of the ones up till now, it has kind of just fed the answers and gone, right, next one, next one. Yep, here's your answer. Hey, you look at this. Here's your answer. Here's the answer for this. This feels like, alongside the Edgeworth case, one of the only ones where it's gone. No, we're going to give you some pushes at some points, but you need to actually think about things. Like case in point, in fact. Get a case in point. This one has felt like there are so many like points where we have had to go, all right, press them.
Yeah.
Press them, press them. We need to find somewhere that they crack. Just keep on pressing. Whereas like so many of the others, we didn't use press.
Mhm.
Like we just went, hey, here's the thing, here's the evidence.
Press
Done.
was the hint button rather than the you need to do this button.
Exactly. Whereas this one, there have been so many where it's you need to go through, you need to get everything. You need to figure things out. You need to get all the info that is being held off from you.
Mm-hmm. There is also we haven't gotten to it yet, but there is a very good scene that I am excited to reach in this. I couldn't remember if it was in this one or in the Edgeworth one, but I have now remembered, and because it wasn't in the Edgeworth one, obviously, and I'm excited to get there.
Okay. I'll look forward to it.
Huh. Well, we got our bits through. Is there anything else you want to add before we get into the shilling?
I don't think so, no.
Right.
I think that is about it. Like, it has been a good story, a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll hit this button here and chill yourself and get people to show up in a couple hours.
Yeah. As usual, people can find me over at twitch.tv/Grumpy Magician. I will be over there in a couple hours, probably doing Blaze Blue entropy effect because Bullets has dropped and she is a grapple character. If anyone has seen any of my DFO content, you know I fucking love grapple characters in an action game. It's so fun. So I want to mess around with that. And maybe we'll do some Elden Ring, like some Night Rain, if I get to the point that I'm just like, yeah, I've had my fill. I'm good to do something else. But the main thing is I'm going to be testing out my new PNG and see if that works well. So that's something cool to check out. Other than that, you can go check out the YouTube, youtube.com/Grumpy Magician, where I upload VODs like the Lies of P DLC and the Clay Obscure Part 1, which, because I have been addicted to singing it this week, I might end up throwing a cover of a song from that up there. It's just really good and really catchy. For those who have heard the OST, the Lumiere theme. Other than that, over at grumpymagician.bsky.social on the Blue Skies, where I rant about various things, share art around, and complain about my past efforts in modeling. Like the fact that to make this model that I have used for the PNG tuber, I created way too many hair strands for my hair. Like, I'll show you once we're done here. But for those who then later see the model, know that there are about 40 strands of hair.
Oh god!
And this isn't I've gone through and simulated a hair to make it nice and detailed. This is just I was designing it with thick parts and I ended up with 40 different strands. Pass me as a dick.
The eternal call of anyone who works on anything for a long amount of time.
I believe that is all for me.
Alright, well, you can catch me here on Twitch at points when I have free time right now, at the CS19, and the same for the YouTube and my Blue Sky as well. I am rapidly approaching a point where I need to make a ramble sheet for Trails from Zero, as I got slapped this week with a scene that made me feel emotions that I have not felt in a very long time. And I was in chapter 3 out of 5. I was not expecting that. The piano kicked in, and it was just like, oh no.
To be fair, I feel that, though. There are absolutely certain tracks because of games that music kicks in, and it's just, oh boy. Oh no, I'm not ready for this.
I think part of it, when I went to look up the track, it's actually one of the less listened to tracks on the game's sound, like, OST. I was surprised by that. The song, I put it over in the music channel. The song is titled Fulfilled Feelings. And someone described, there's 2 comments on that video. One of them is just someone sort of talking about the character that it's relevant to. But the other one is someone mentioning how the instrument actually sounds. And they hit the nail on the head and why it sounds so somber and why it works so well. It sounds like one of those pianos that's been sitting in an old church building for 20 years and has never been tuned, and it just... there is that special way that those pianos sound that you can't get anywhere else, and it just like hits. It's that feeling of, oh, I've been this place before.
That just old,
Yep.
dust-filled piano.
And it's over a scene that I will say I'm surprised how much this one has put on, having played the Sky games, which is why I'm very glad I did so, even though they're old. But that scene carrying through a plotline from Sky 2 and 3 in a way that is... It's hard to explain in brief terms, but Sky 3 is not a very story-heavy game. It's functionally an epilogue that gives you little character tidbits. But the one that matters the most is the one that's relevant to this plotline. And it got me. So I will have to ramble about this game probably by the time I'm done. And this is the first out of 2. So Lord knows what's going to be in that other one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me done. Go check out Airy here in a couple hours, and if you're watching this later, then go see if they're streaming right now. They're probably maybe doing it if it's late. Alright. Well, anything else, Airy?
I don't believe so, at least on my end.
Alright. Well, keep your eye on the Blue Sky, folks, for next week's session. And if there's going to be anything more in between, the Honkai Impact update did just drop today as well, but I think story's going to be a couple weeks out, if I remember the calendar right, so that'll be a thing happening sometime.
Be surprised.
But, yeah. That's us for the evening. We'll see you all next